And today, for the first episode of 2023 for the Sports Stuff podcast, we got crafty 6'2" guard out of Valley Vista High School, Adam Asai. Appreciate you coming on, man. Happy New Year. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on here and happy new year to you as well.
Well, I was excited to watch you play this past week at McClintock. Loved what I saw and thought I'd love to have you on. But before we get into kind of that and how you guys been doing, how's the season been for you in your eyes? What's been some challenges you guys have faced? What's been some pros and stuff that you guys have seen that you've done great in, and what's kind of been the season like for you guys so far?
Well, our season hasn't been picture perfect, and there's definitely been some struggles. I feel like we're doing a lot better now than we were in the beginning. We started off with our tournament in Welcome to the Jungle at Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
We dropped the ball in our first game, and then later on, we just fought with adversity and we persevered, and then we ended up winning the next three. And then after that, towards our regular season, we played a lot of competition from out of state, a lot of Colorado teams. So not something you usually see very often, especially in the AIA. So
Mm-hmm.
that gave us a little challenge and competition as well. We didn't win any of those games, but we learned a lot from them, learning how to play together as a team and what we can fix to improve on that. So right now, I think we're 6-6 or 7-6. And this recent tournament, I feel like we made a lot of progress together as a team, knowing our personnel and finally starting to click because knowing mid-season, it's kind of like a good basis on how you want to see yourself come February and playoffs time. So
Right. Yeah, you guys. I think you are 7-6. It has 6-6 on Max Preps, but it's your last one was Tempe. But you guys did beat Desert Vista a couple of days ago as well. So you're 7-6 heading into kind of that second half of the season. You had a great showing, winning the consolation bracket at the McClintock Shootout. Faced a tough team in Highland, but you only lost by 9, who finished second in the whole thing. And then kind of just kicked everybody else's ass the whole way through. It seemed like with with the games y'all had. I was able to watch you guys play at McClintock Shootout. You guys killed everybody through that tournament after the Highland game, which you did put up a fight. It seemed like against the team that finished second in that tournament. Um, I want to start with the Tempe game. I looked at both the you guys and Tempe's team before the game, and I was like, well, I think Valley Vista should beat him handily. It was a little tough in the first half. You guys didn't get a lot of shots going. Tried to kind of move, but a couple turnovers here and there. Halftime, I think you guys were up by like maybe 4, I think, something around there. Y'all had a 40-point third quarter. I've never seen a team like flip the switch like you guys did. You came out on like a full court press and again turnovers galore, like back to back to back threes. What did your coaches say at halftime in that game specifically for you guys to go and like kill them as bad as you did just in that third quarter alone? Because you guys did win 78-28 with the final score. But what did they say to you at halftime to kind of get you guys to get that aggressive and come out that strong in the third quarter?
I'm going to be honest with you. We usually start off the second half very slow. Third quarter is usually being some of our worst. And we weren't playing exactly up to par. And knowing us, we're a lot better than that. The
Right.
coach didn't really say anything to us. He didn't really yell. He just told us, he said, I'm not going to say anything. You guys got to figure this out yourselves.
Mm,
So, with the leadership that I carry, I tried to motivate us and like talk us into focusing more and to come out strong in the third quarter. So then we came out with like 8 minutes left in halftime and just shot around until it was time to go again. So
right. Yeah, you guys came out a little bit earlier than most teams do. And it seemed like it worked because you and Dwayne and the rest of the guys, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. Like you guys are hitting like I think you guys hit like 5 threes in a row. There was like 3 steals in it, your blocks and everything. And then the Desert Vista game, you guys were up by I think like 14 at halftime. Um,
I think we're down at, or tied at half. It was tied at half.
You're right. Yeah, I'm thinking of the Desert Mountain Point game. But yeah, it was a tie game, and again, you came out really strong in the second half as well. Dwayne, it seemed like, had the game of his life, hitting threes from that right corner every single time he shot the ball. Um, Winning that that consolation bracket, putting up those big number performances. How do you feel that is going to help you guys collectively as a team with chemistry and with confidence going into this next half of the season?
Well, going with chemistry, it's a lot easier to gain that bond with each other when you start winning games and everything just starts clicking.
Right.
So that first loss against Highland, it was kind of like a challenge for us to overcome, saying, "Oh, we lost this one, so we gotta move on and prepare for the next one, and we can't let one loss phase us." So we broke down a little bit, but then it helped us build back up and regain our confidence. I think those 3 wins, they were a little bit challenging. We had some challenges there too, but I feel like as a whole, it helped us collaborate and build off of one another and see what we all can bring to the table, whether it be shooting, defending, making the extra pass and stuff like that. So I think this tournament helped us a whole lot because usually we would break down more than usual, but I feel like we held our composure and we uh hold on, how am I gonna say it? We tried to stick to the overall goal of just winning games and doing what it takes to win. So
Yeah. Um, I'd love to hear your take on Dwayne Jones, your teammate. You guys seem like a really good 1-2 punch with how you guys kind of complement each other on the court. Um, he had a big game against Desert Vista. You were a part of that a lot with being able to break down, that Desert Vista defense and get him the ball constantly. You guys, it was constant ball movement, which in high school basketball, I love to see that and not so much ISO ball. And you do a really good job of controlling your offense and making sure everyone gets involved. Him though having that big game, you having a big game as well. How do you feel this for you specifically is going to help with the rest of the season?
I feel like for me, it always gives me the perspective of seeing what's coming at me on a daily basis in games.
Mm,
The past 2 or 3 games, I'd say all of them besides Tempe, all of them, they all scout, they all take notes on everybody. And I feel like for me, they always try to get the ball out of my hands and to have it play through others. But with me, I came to light that I play a big role to this team and that even when I have the ball and people are trying to come at me, I have to make sure I make other people on the team better. So dishing that ball out, getting rebounds, playing good defense, and even when it's not a good scoring night, I always just got to bring those other assets to the table. So
what are some things you have worked on personally through watching film and practices? Your core vision, which we're going to get into in a bit, is something I love about your game. You're able to get it up court pretty quickly, and you're able to see things. It seems like, I like to say like a few seconds before it happens. You're able to see when defenders back down, you got a guy in the open corner, or you got a guy back, like giving the back screen to a cutter. But what are things you have focused on most through the season, watching film with your coaches and stuff, that have helped benefit your season so far?
with watching film, I always try to pay attention to the little things. I don't really try to focus on my main highlights of me scoring and me
Right.
doing like big time plays. I try to focus on the little things and like try to break down defenses on how I can improve on that. So I've been studying how to get past and trying to learn where to make that extra pass. I also try to study film more on my shot. Sometimes my shot isn't falling. An example would be that recent Desert Vista game 3. So I try to study that and what I can fix going into the gym tomorrow because we can't do anything on Sundays really. So
Yeah. You're 6'2". In my opinion, one of the most crafty guards I've watched recently here in the Valley. your court vision and range to help make teammates and make it extremely difficult for, like you said, defenses to guard you. What can we expect from Adam Asai the rest of the season?
You can expect the same person that you probably saw the last two games that you watched, being able to take control of games, being able to make my teammates better, and to overall win games. The goal is to make the open playoffs and to hopefully make it far into that. But if not, the main goal is to try to win that state championship and to keep competing and to keep moving on brick by brick and build a legacy within Valley Vista. We've made the playoffs the past 3 years, but have always gotten first round exited to teams that make it far, like Brophy last year,
Mm,
Mountain Point 2 years ago, and then Desert Vista my freshman year with Osari Iguodara on all of them, those big time players. So
yeah, that must have been a tough team to go up against. But um, who are some people you see in yourself where you try to emulate your game off? When I was watching you, of course, Luca is a guy that comes to mind. I know a lot of people call you baby Luca and stuff like that since you were like a freshman in high school. Um, I hate saying that because of course he's such a generational talent, and I hate saying that, but how you play the game, you're a bigger, stronger guard too, which I think is why you look so much like Luca. Another guy is Steve Nash too, with how you're able with your court vision and pass the ball. But in your words, in your eyes, who are some guys you try to emulate your game off?
well, I'm pretty sure you already said it. I really like Luca's game, especially because he reminds me a lot of myself. He's not the fastest. He's taller, but I'd say I'm like a little shorter version. He's not the fastest, not the absolute strongest, but his pace and his
Mm-hmm.
shot creating ability and his ability to make others better, it is a lot of traits that I carry and that I try to focus more like is probably Steph Curry or Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has always been my favorite player, and his shot creating and scoring ability is probably one of the best in the league. So if I can get to that, then the player need to be pretty complete.
Right. Yeah. You're right now averaging 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 2.5 steals. Um, like you talk about pace, and stuff like that. You do a lot of stuff on the court, that I think doesn't get shown on the stat sheet, of course, like you're talking about with the pace, breaking down defenders and stuff like that. For people that haven't seen you play in person yet, is there a certain style of play that best describes your game?
I would basically put my game as someone who hasn't watched it as like a floor general and I would say basically a floor general, just bringing the whole pace of the game, making everybody play to my pace and my advantage. So with that, I break down defenses really easy, trying to create my own shot when it's there and to not really force anything, but to make everybody on my team come together as a whole and compete and play together.
What is it about like who taught you how to play like this? I know I think it was eVisions, and I think you even posted too. I know your sister plays D1 at BYU now. Um, but is there anybody that has helped you growing up that has helped you kind of generate how you play this game and kind of consume it and see the game how you do? But yeah, is there anybody that's come in your life in the last couple of years that's really helped you develop into the player you are today?
I'm gonna be honest, I watch a lot of basketball at home. I like watching college basketball. When I'm not really busy, I like to watch high school basketball too. And seeing that the overall concept of moving the ball and making the extra pass and hitting shots in general, I feel like it's a very beautiful thing to watch.
Mm,
One team from high school I can say that does that really well is Boulder Creek. I think Boulder Creek moves around the ball a whole lot and makes the extra pass, and they hit shots consistently, and it just looks very pretty and beautiful. So watching them, it's very fun to watch. And with that, it just kind of helps me grow my game, seeing that, oh, making that extra pass, finding who's open can really break down defenses and lead to success on the court. So I feel like that's what's really taught me the most about my game and what has guided me to play like that.
Is there anybody that stuck out to you at that tournament? You talked about Boulder Creek. Um, that was a tough, like they played two tough games that I saw against Desert Mountain and Liberty. They ended up beating Liberty, which was kind of shocking to me. I've had Caden Hunter on. He's probably one of the better players in the AIA as well. But is there anybody or any team that stuck out to you besides Boulder Creek that you liked watching throughout this past week?
I'm gonna be honest, even though we lost to them, I really enjoyed competing with them too. I think Highland turned a lot of heads this week too. They've
Mm-hmm.
always been good, played them the past 4 years of my life in high school. They play the same way as Boulder Creek does, almost trying to run an offense, make that extra pass, and being able to hit shots. I feel like they turned a lot of heads this week, especially beating one of the better teams in the state, which would be Liberty, by double digits too. Is kind of it was a little
Mm-hmm.
shocking in my perspective, but when they beat us, I figured that they would lock in and go all the way almost, but came up short.
Yeah. So let's talk about who you're going to be playing up against the rest of the year and who you're most excited to play this for the rest of the season. You got West Point, Tolleson, Desert Vista, Cesar Chavez, Shadow Ridge, Maricopa, West Point and Chavez and Tolleson again, and then Shadow Ridge again and Maricopa. Mostly regional guys. I saw you talking a bit to a couple of the players on the Desert Vista team and going like this when you guys were in the zone trying to get them to do a little ISO with you. Is there, I know it seems like you're probably most looking forward to playing Desert Vista again, but for you, who are you most excited to play the rest of the season?
In our region, we have a good old rival at Shadow Ridge. So usually our games are jam packed in there. Last year we had a great turnout, beating them both times. So it's always a nice little rivalry within our district and region to play Shadow. So that's one that I'm looking forward to. And of course, like you said, Desert Vista, just due to the fact that everybody was trying to talk and then a lot of chirping from the sidelines, I just know it's going to cause a whole commotion. And I like games like that. That way we can show up, show out, and put their foot on their neck again and make sure that we beat them a second time.
Hey, I love it because I mean, you backed up if you were talking back because you guys beat him by what, like 30, I think it was. Um, that was a fun game to watch. Just how quick you guys like flipped the switch on him, and they thought they had you. There was a lot of moms talking in the stands. I'm sure you heard it. So shout out to all the AIA moms because you guys do talk a lot. But those games I'm sure will be fun. I know Shadow Ridge is decently good. At least when I was in high school, they were. I don't know how they are now. But one of my last questions for you before we end here. I want to talk about your guys' goals for the rest of the year. I know this is your last year. I'm sure the end goal is the state title, but is there any other specific goals you as a team have set out for yourself?
We've come to a conclusion that we have two goals in mind. The first one is to win region due to the fact that we've never really secured a regional title within our years at Valley Vista. We've always come close, placing second. And I think every year so far that I've been here, 2 years to Sunny Slope and then 1 year to La Jolla my freshman year when they went 17-1.
Mm.
And then the second goal would be to make it past that first round of playoffs because we always get stumped there, just like how we usually get stumped in normal tournaments. And our tournaments within the season, we usually lose the first round and then we end up winning the rest of the games. So I feel like getting past that first step of playoffs would help us tremendously and give us a big confidence booster going into the postseason.
Um, what are your favorite on-court shoes right now? I know, like, the person you love playing, you were wearing the Lucas this past week. I went and bought some basketball shoes. I tried on the Lucas, and they're pretty comfortable. They got really good grip to them. I ended up buying the Jordan 36 lows in the Luka colorway, the blue ones. But any other shoes you've been rocking with this year, or has it just been the Lucas for you?
Over the summer, I really tried to get into the mesh with Under Armour shoes, just because I
Mm.
played on that Under Armour Rise circuit over the summer. But I feel like those shoes would just move my feet around too much, and they were really comfortable and very light, but I wouldn't really recommend those shoes. And then last year, my favorite shoe was the PG5s. I felt like those were my favorite because they hugged my foot tight and they had really good grip. But for right now, I would say the Lucas, even though they've made my feet blister a whole lot. I feel like they're still a really good shoe. They fit me very well, being baby Luca, and the grip on them is insanely good.
Yeah. I tried
One of the
squeaking them out, and
best.
I was like, wow, these things. No wonder
They
he's
stick.
dropping 60.
They
um,
stick, man. They're really good.
well, Adam, I appreciate you coming on and talking with us. If y'all play like you did this past week, you guys are going to have a great rest of the season. Before we go, anything to shout out real quick?
Uh, Shout out the team, man. That's all I really gotta say. I love my boys. Been with them for a long time, and just want to make this season count while it lasts. Memories like these don't happen very often, so we got to make the best of them while they
Yeah,
matter.
absolutely. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on. Hope you have a great rest of your week. It's pouring rain, so it's not too pretty to go outside. But
No,
wish
it's
you
light
guys.
over here, man.
Oh, really? Oh, well, wish you nothing but the best of luck, man. Good luck. I'll try to come and pop out to a game or two more for the rest of the season, and I hope to see you guys in the playoffs this year.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me, man, and happy New Year's.